George has got a gold shot. George got that gallery, has gold, real gold. Real. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting for the Town Board of Monroe of September 10th to order. You have two exits behind you, one out to your right, our left, behind these doors. Just please turn down your cell phones so that they're silent. And if we can rise for the pledge and remain standing after the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to read a quote before we have a moment of silence for Senator John McCain. He said, "It is your character and your character alone that will make your life happy or unhappy. That is all that really passes for destiny, and you choose it. No one else can give it to you or deny it to you. No rival can steal it from you, and no friend can give it to you. Others can encourage you to make the right choices or discourage you, but ultimately, you choose." So can we have a moment of silence for Senator McCain? Thank you.
Supervisor, you want to have a moment of silence for the 6 members of the Monroe community that died during the World Trade Center attacks?
Sure. Thank you again. A few announcements before we begin. There's going to be upgrading going on in your developments from Altice. They're upgrading the fiber cable. Altice is the company that bought US Cablevision, and that should be going on for at least 3 more weeks. Our solar farm, the completion is scheduled for the end of October, and it should be up and running by then, as per the information that I received on Friday. This coming Saturday is Founders Day. The Village of Monroe will be hosting it. It's from 10 to 5. And then on Sunday, they're going to have dinner and a movie. That dinner will be between the Barnstar and Planet Pizza. And the movie will be over where the concerts are. The screen will be facing the opposite direction towards the South Pond, and the seating will be arranged in the streets. On September 22nd, there's Harriman Family Fun Day. That's at Mary Harriman Park from 1 to 4. That's a great event that was started by the Village of Harriman last year. They did it in conjunction with honoring Ed Schubert and the memorializing his name in the park behind the what is going to be the new Village Hall, which is the old Village Hall. Tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. there are memorial services for 9/11 at the memorial on Mill Pond. I spoke to Mayor Dwyer today, and there will be tents there. So regardless of the weather, I think it's one of those events that we all need to be there for. The Town of Monroe budget meetings will be held on October 3rd and October 22nd at 6 p.m. On the 22nd, we do have a town board meeting at 7:30. So it'd be great if we get a lot of attendance there. So right now, we all are lucky to have someone in our community who has truly galvanized the community, who has done so on a volunteer basis with nothing other than a commitment to the community that she lives in. Emily Convers and her family sacrificed a lot to help contribute to the community and make sure that our community benefited from it. I'm going to turn it over to our town council people so that they can say a few words, and then I'll have Councilman Scancarello acknowledge Emily's efforts here.
Okay. I would like to say thank you to Emily for her time and devotion. She's really been 100% for the community and for the residents. Without her, I probably would not have run this past election. So once again, it was because of her efforts to make this community really reach its potential that I really appreciate what she's done for us.
Emily, you know, when we first started out, we were pretty good adversaries at one point. I'm happy to say that a lot has changed, and we managed to work together. But I cannot begin to say and thank you enough, you and your family, for the sacrifices you made day to day, month to month, throughout the year. You galvanized our town, our community. You even got things moving in this county. You got people thinking about how local politics really are. And it transcends parties. We have to realize that our community means more. And thanks to you, you got people to realize just what it means to get out and vote and how you can make a change. And you're looking at the proof right here. I can't even thank you even for my last run for office and what you've done for all of us and for this town especially. I know that there had to be countless sleepless nights. Believe me, I know about sleepless nights. and all of the things you had to give up for your children and your husband and everybody in your
15
family
seconds.
supported you. Don't interrupt a good story. Thank you so much, and you will be missed.
Councilman McGinn?
Hello, everyone. Listen, in all seriousness, on behalf of the grateful community, we thank you. Thank you for your activism. We thank you and your family for all that you have done and sacrificed. Your sons, I'm sure there are a lot of evenings when your mom wasn't around, and Philippe, you were, carrying that mantle when she wasn't. So, they say one person can't make a difference, and I think you're, a fitting example that's one person can make a difference and galvanize a community and get everyone behind you. And we were talking over here before, and I don't know what would have happened if you didn't come into existence in this community. What would have happened? What would this board look like now? What would this community look like? And fortunately, we don't have to worry about that, and we have you to thank for that. So good luck on life's next adventure, your new adventure, and you can always come home, and we'll be here, and you'll have something to come home to. So good luck, and God bless.
Emily, I've known you for a few years, maybe 3 or 4, and from day one, you have inspired me to be a better citizen in this town. I think you've inspired a lot of people. I think United Monroe inspired a lot of people. I think what you've done and the sacrifices you've made for this community over the past few years have just been extraordinary. We owe you everything. So we're here, I'm here because of you. And I thank you for that, for the opportunity that I'm here to serve this town. We have a little plaque, I'd like to read it. The town of Monroe greatly acknowledges Emily Converse for your selfless dedication, extraordinary civil duty, and contributions to the town of Monroe community. Presented this day, September 10, 2018, by the Town Board of Monroe.
on, we gotta get the support team up here.
George, you want us here? Or?
Yeah, just come over more so I
Slide
can.
down here a little bit.
This is gonna be on YouTube, so nobody will ever listen to them.
Will be one of the better things on YouTube.
Get your husband here?
Yeah.
Come on, get the kids on.
And the kids. Okay. Okay, just everyone look this way, please. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. This is one of the Making an Impact pins that we have given out to all those we've honored here at our meetings. So here's one for you, Emily. If you lose it, just call us. Thank you, boys. Thank you. Lee, remember, this is her home, not Switzerland.
I'll never forget it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What I always say, which is I didn't do it alone. Right?
No, you had a great support team.
Right? How many amazing people I've known and met and had the honor of working alongside in this community, and it's with a heavy heart that I move on. So thank you all so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Brian, just so you know, you will be here.
Yeah, I can do that 7 words. Yeah.
Before you begin, I just would like to ask for a motion on the Village of Harriman Family Fun Day. The village has requested a donation of popcorn, so
I'll make that motion that we give the village of Harriman popcorn for their day.
okay.
I'll second.
What
How
about
much
the village,
popcorn?
what about the village of Monroe? I know Mayor Dwyer, he's like a big fan of popcorn. A lot of,
If the Village of Monroe requests popcorn, then we can offer that to them.
no, just kidding.
Okay. So, call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I,
Okay.
Supervisor, who seconds that?
Cologne.
Councilman Cologne. Okay, one of the community event, I'll turn it over to Councilman Scancarello.
So on Saturday, the 5th annual Monroe Pediatrics Pie in the Face fundraiser for pediatric cancer to benefit the Troop 365 is taking place. This event touches my heart tremendously as my son is a cancer survivor. He's 12, he's doing great, but it's a very, very impactful event that takes place in your life. And Monroe Pediatrics is going to talk about their event on Saturday, and this is actually Ann from Monroe Pediatrics is here, and she will say a few words about the event. And notice, Ann, the whole board is wearing gold.
Toby.
Board, our secretary, our attorney, our
Everyone.
cameraman.
I see,
We are
thank
going
you.
gold.
You can pull the mic down,
I
yeah.
can pull it down.
Yeah.
I'm short.
That's okay.
Hi, everybody, how you doing? Oh, let's
Good,
switch
how
my
are you? Thank you
glasses.
for being here.
Good, thank you. Hi, I'm actually, I'm here tonight to represent the physicians and staff of Monroe Pediatrics. My name's Ann, I'm one of the medical assistants at Monroe Pediatrics, and I'm here with Dr. Goldstein, who wishes she could be here tonight, but celebrating Rosh Hashanah with her family. I'd like to thank Mr. Scancarello for inviting me to speak to you all tonight, and I'd like to thank the Monroe Town Board for being supportive of the efforts of the Monroe Pediatrics to raise awareness for the funds for pediatric cancer research. I will first shock you with statistics, and then I will give you hope. Cancer is the #1 cause of death she didn't write this right. Cancer is the #1 cause of death to disease in children in the U.S. According to the Truth 365 Arms Wide Open Foundation website, as of 2014, Over 15,000 children under the age of 19 were diagnosed with cancer. In the U.S. alone, there were 2,500 deaths due to childhood cancer during that same year. The National Cancer Institute has a budget of over $4.9 billion, and only 4% of that, $195 million, is dedicated to children. The average age of a child at diagnosis is 6, whereas adults, the average age is 66. There are 16 major types of pediatric cancer, but over 100 subtypes. The 5-year survival rate for children is 83%, but when you identify the survival rate by type of cancer, the reality is children with DIPG and aggressive brain cancer do not survive, and in fact our community lost an adorable little boy to this horrible disease this year. Acute lymphocytic leukemia has a 5-year survival rate of 90%. 1 in 530 adults between the ages of 20 and 39 years old is a survivor. More than 95% of childhood cancer survivors will have a significant health-related issue by the time they're 45, either due to the cancer or more frequently due to side effects of the treatment. 35% of children diagnosed will pass away within 30 years of their diagnosis. Those that survive past 5 years have an 8 times greater mortality rate due to the risk of liver and heart disease. Now the good news. We as a community have raised tens of thousands of dollars for our children battling these horrible diseases. Between private donations to families and our fundraisers, we are showing our children they are worth more than, I lost my train of thought there, sorry about that. 5 years ago, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge was sweeping the nation. At that same time, a Monroe Road child, Juliana Edel, who passed from Ewing sarcoma in 2013, was being mourned by her friends and family. Her teacher, Nikki Dorfman-Duggan at Central Valley, decided to take a pie in the face in her honor and challenged others to do so to raise awareness of this pediatric cancer. Having seen Nikki on Facebook, Dr. Goldstein took up the challenge and brought it back to her partners at Monroe Pediatrics. Our first year we raised $400, but challenged the Monroe Wheelwright Pop-Warner League, the Monroe Wheelwright United Soccer, and the Tercipper, can never say that where she dances, Tercipper, I can never say it, the dance school. These organizations took up the charge, and throughout the community, whipped cream pies started flying. The teachers and administration in our schools and children all started throwing them. This year marks the 5th annual Monroe Pediatric Pie in the Face fundraiser. We have gone from challenging our community to participating to inviting them to join us. We have raised over $10,000 in our practice, and has all gone directly to pediatric cancer research, to the Truth 365 Arms Wide Open Foundation. Our event honors the children who are or who have battled cancer and remember the ones we have lost. Our community has been incredible, and our event grows bigger and bigger every year. We have an extensive tricky tray, raffles, a food truck, entertainment, thanks to many of our local businesses. I would like to invite all of you and the residents of the town of Monroe to join us in our parking lot at 70 Gilbert Street this Saturday, September 15th at 2 o'clock for a sweet, sticky fun. Throw pies at your favorite pediatricians, and the best part of it all. Get them twice if you want. A guest appearance by Dr. Alan Harowitz will be there. Take a chance at our 50-50, win gift certificates, dance with the, I can't say it again, with the music of DJ Baby Sal. Grab a bite of the famous Damon's food truck, or cool off with Ice Mother and Sons Italian ice truck. However you choose to participate, please come join us. As we show the children of Monroe, Orange County, that the nation, we believe they are worth more than this. Please join us. It's really important. It's a great cause.
It's an absolute great one.
Thank you.
It's Saturday the 15th. Thank you, everybody.
See you Saturday.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we need a motion for the acceptance of minutes of August 13th, 2018.
Supervisor, the town clerk has asked that those minutes be held over so that she can explain the way certain things get done with board docs in regards to the acceptance of the minutes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table it.
Second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cardona, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again,
Okay. Before we get into the bulk of the new business, Legislator Pete Toohey is here to give a report, an update from the county.
My glasses. Can't drive without them. Thank you again.
You're welcome, thank you very much.
Again.
Good evening, everyone, and, well, board.
Good evening.
You look good tonight.
Raise that mic up.
I didn't get the memo on the gold title.
You got a gold pin on you, good.
Just to give everybody a quick update, 9 months in now, with the county legislature, and, we've got the statutory committees that I'm on: physical services, health and mental health, and human services. Some advisory committees that I'm on is community development block grants, for the towns and villages, pathways committee, office of the aging, and a ad hoc, committee that, the supervisor for the sewer, and with the supervisor in the village of Monroe mayor. Along those lines, I want to tell you that on the community block grants, the village and the town applied, first time in a number of years. And I've got good news, but I don't think it's been released yet, so I'm gonna say it's 99% sure. The whittling's been done and everything, but it looks like we'll be getting the doors, the electric doors for the ADA. Also, some new HVAC equipment here for the senior center, along with sidewalk work down in the village for the mayor. And that should be coming soon. I hope I don't get in trouble for telling everybody.
Thanks for the update, that's
Yeah.
great news.
Also, with the, I've been giving updates with the senior center, with the Jolly Seniors, several times throughout my start. I've attended the Orange County Crime Victims Vigil, with the district attorney and the county clerk. I attended the SUNY Orange, graduation ceremony in May. I've been to, I think, 3 or 4 towns and village association meetings. We had 2 meetings on this ad hoc committee kind of for the sewer that supervisor and mayor were at. And
Mayor Welly was there too.
Mayor Welly too was there also, yeah. And so we had public, we all spoke. And then also I submitted some written comments to the attorney up in Albany. The interesting thing with that there is that the New York State DEC has changed the specifications for outflow, and unfortunately that the water that they're saying is clean coming in on the upper Ramapo is it's within that range, this new range that we're supposed to live by for our renewal permit. So after checking further, I've been down to a conference for intergovernmental relations down in Washington at the White House, the Executive Office Building. Made some contacts down there, spoke to some people in the EPA down there. They referred me up to Region 2 up here in New York City in the Hudson Valley. And from what I understand is that they haven't really taken these tests. And actually the upper Ramapo should be on the impaired waters list for the Federal Clean Water Act. So there's a call coming up in a few weeks. I don't know how fast, I'm learning how fast government moves. And so it's, they're aware of it. I think everybody's aware of it. But it's the spec, we can't be held to a higher standard than everybody else is, especially when they're giving us dirty water that should be certified as polluted. So, along with that, just some other things. Attended the Vietnam Traveling Wall. It was up in Newburgh. It was at an Orange County Early Interventions conference dealing with our autistic children, teachers, and therapists. The opening ceremony for the senior games. Doing some constituent services here in Monroe. If anybody has any issues or anything that you want to raise with the county or the state, come on down and get a hold of me. My information's on the website for the county. And also what we did was I had taken a Narcan training several months back, and then it was excellent. And I say that everybody that has a chance to take it, take it. It's some people, they argue that, well, it's a person puts themselves in that situation. But as the district attorney said, we shouldn't be playing God And if we bring somebody back, sometimes it's 4 or 5 times if it is, before the light bulb goes on, it says they need to get help. So I put together a training for the Orange County Legislature. We had about 11 members there, it's over half. And if anybody in the group wants to set up a training, towns, villages, your own groups, your employers, again, contact me. I'll put you in touch with Skip Zimmerman from Oasis, and we'll get you set up. You'll do some training, it's about an hour long, and then you'll have an Narcan kit when you go. So that's basically it, and I appreciate the time, and want to wish all of our friends that celebrate a Happy New Year, and you know, God bless America. Tomorrow's a big day of remembrance, that it always will be, and also pray that it never happens again. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more thing too, Mary had some questions about leak detection.
For the water districts.
For the water district, and the water authority is getting revamped right now in the county, but it sounds like that's gonna be brought up again. That's gonna, they're gonna start doing some leak detections that they'll do at no cost for the water districts. And also questions about Larkin Drive extension, just even if it was still on the books, but it's still there. It's in the planning stages. We got a lot of stuff going forward. So, you know, that it hasn't been scrapped, Mary, so.
Thank you for that update.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Okay, new business. Councilman Scancarello, you want to give us an update on the Food Truck Festival Community Day?
October 20th is the date. I think I mentioned at the last board meeting. Trucks are, we have, I think, 16 trucks. We had 15 last time, so we have more this time. It's an event for children, to bring the kids. We have live music all day. My only question, and maybe Mr. Supervisor can help me with this, how about we start this event at 11 and run it to 6?
Yeah.
You know, the light is an issue, I think. After 6 o'clock.
It's gonna be tough.
So maybe we could do 11 to 6 that day.
That's fine. I think Anne Marie Morris had checked the sunset, and I think it was at like 6:10.
All right, so.
Sunday, so.
Yeah, so we have the live music for most of the day, and it's an art festival, so if you know any local artists that want to get involved in this event, please have them reach out to me. But all systems go, we're ready for October 20th. Tons of food trucks, live music, arts for the kids, crafts for the kids. We have a few vendors. Once again, we got the stage from Orange County. Thank you, Pat Patterson, for that. Other than that, pray for a nice sunny day. Hopefully the leaves are at peak, and we'll have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you
Awesome,
very
Sal.
much.
Thanks.
Take that back. The sunset is at 7:09.
So if we end at
But,
6,
yeah,
it gives them an
6,
hour to
yeah.
get out of there.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
All right. Next item up, Board of Ethics appointment, Councilman McGinn.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint Paul Phelan to the Board of Ethics. Paul was previously on the Board of Ethics, did a wonderful job there. Left, went to the Board of Assessment Review, and decided he wanted to go back and answer the call of making sure the government here conducts itself in an ethical manner, and so I'd like to make a motion that we reappoint Mr. Phelan to the Board of Ethics.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, I
Okay, thank you.
want you back in.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Just when you thought you were done, they dragged you back in.
Just pull you back in.
No, listen, seriously, it is a, you know, they spend a lot of time. They have, you know, the attorney from our firm spends a lot of time with them. The cases that they've handled so far, they've handled in a meticulous manner and impartial manner. So we're happy that you're back, Paul, and you're a voice of reason on that board, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Next item is the 2018 New York State Assessors Association Conference. April McDonald has requested $175 in tuition, $150 in mileage, meals of $228, and the hotel of $612, which, sorry, I thought this was total, I was told.
1165.
1165, you're right, Mary.
How
Thank
many
you.
days is that cover?
It is,
5 days.
September 30th through October 3rd.
5
Yep.
days, okay.
so,
I'd like to make a motion to have April attend the NSAA Assessors Conference. The money's already in her budget, and it's for $1,165.
okay, the line item for the budget is 1A001355-4189-00.
I'll
So if you
second
can
that.
add that to the motion. Seconded by Councilman
Come on.
Cologne. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay. Advanced Accounting School. This is for Roberta McBride, our bookkeeper, to attend accounting principles and procurement class, which is being held September 12th to the 14th in Montgomery, New York. The fee for attending the class is $170, and the mileage reimbursement is approximately $45 to $50. I apologize for not having a line item there for the budget item. We'll get that and add that in. But I'd like to make a motion to approve that.
And she's doing a fine job, I'll second that.
Any other discussion?
Is this budgeted already?
Yes.
For under training, correct?
Yep, under
Yes.
training for the finance department.
Mhm.
Okay, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay, so move. Oh, yeah. We need to have a motion and approval for the Town of Monroe to pay the membership dues of $1,500 for the Association of Towns of the State of New York for 2019.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Cologne, second.
Any other discussion? Call the
You
question.
know, the town has benefited over the years from being part of this organization.
Yes.
Council people and supervisor go get their training when they are newly elected, so money well spent.
Yes, and there's also advanced courses.
Yeah, there's advanced courses, and
Yeah.
they're a good resource for different things that come up in the town that we need information on.
Okay, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay. Next item is a request to place the proposition for the Monroe Free Library on the November 6, 2018 general election ballot. So I'll make that motion.
I'd like to second that. Cologne, second.
Any other discussion?
Supervisor, just clarification, is this the board making the motion to put it on, or is there petitions filed?
This is the board to place making the motion for the proposition.
Thank you.
And Supervisor, the
Yes.
town clerk will be in the office tomorrow and will be sending the proposition up to the Board of Elections.
Okay. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay. Next up is the agreement for snow and ice control on certain county roads for the 2018-19 season. This is the same agreement we signed over the last couple of years. It's a 5-page agreement, so we need permission for the supervisor to sign this agreement. And I'm just looking for the rates here. So the rates for Harriman Heights County Road is $2.01 per mile, and that's a $4,800 per mile. which totals $9,648. And then West Monbassia, County Road 91 from County Road 5 on Lakes Road, all the way up to Cedar Cliff, to the southern border of the town of Tuxedo. And that is, distance for the per mile is 3.76. The rate per mile is $4,800 again, and it's $18,048 for a total of center line miles of 5.77 miles, for a total of $27,696. So we need a motion to approve that.
Make a motion to approve it, or
For the supervisor to sign it.
You're just approving my signature on it.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilman Scancarello. Any other discussion?
I know last year, the highway superintendent, Mr. Sherney, was in agreement with this. It was a good deal for
Yes,
the town and a good deal for, since they already covered those
Yeah,
roads.
we drive over those roads anyway, so.
Have you spoken to him? Is that still,
Yes,
is it still
he
the
was-
case?
That's still the case.
Still the case, he was adamant this morning about making sure that we approved it.
Okay. All right, make a motion and authorize you to sign it.
Second by Councilman Scancarello, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, aye.
You need a pen to sign in?
I got that.
Oh, just check.
And the resolution was prepared by Mr. Nugent. Okay, hold on one second. We need to discuss and approve lead agency status for Harriman Business Park annexation.
Is this in regards to the Woodbury,
This is-
anything to Woodbury?
This is in regard to the Woodbury annexation.
Supervisor, I believe we tabled this last time as the Woodbury application would take precedence over the Harriman, so until that's resolved, there's really no purpose in moving forward with this
Okay,
application.
Table to this point.
that's fine.
And when we meet with Woodbury, then we'll decide then if we're a lead agency.
Well, we already did lead agency for Woodbury,
For
and that's what I'm
Woodbury.
saying, that's in progress. We have a joint public hearing scheduled for the 24th, so until that whole process resolves, we wouldn't move on to the Harriman issue unless and until the Woodbury one doesn't go forward.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
And that joint meeting will be held on, that joint public meeting is scheduled for September 24th. We passed that resolution last meeting. We actually passed a double resolution because of the conflict tonight. We wanted to make sure that we had the 24th in there as well. So it's basically, Woodbury is on board. I spoke to them on Wednesday of last week just to confirm. So, okay. Next item, I'll talk quickly and then I'll go back to Councilman Cologne here. The SAM grant from the state was approved by Senator Larkin's office for the purchase of Etchcayam the renovations after the purchase of Etchcayam. We got $250,000. We were originally anticipating $300,000. We're not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. We will take it, and we need to approve a resolution that grant funds will be used to reimburse project costs paid from bond anticipation notes before the issuance of the long-term debt. So,
So you need to make, you want to make.
I will make that motion.
I'll second you on that one.
We got a second from Councilman McGinn.
Okay.
And we need to do that because it's a requirement of the application. So,
Just a question for discussion. So when we do our budget meetings, that's already factored in, that once we approve this resolution.
yeah, well, I have to talk to our accountants on that, only because this could take anywhere between 24 12 to 36 months to get the money in. So, you know, it's difficult if, you understand, if we budget for next year and we don't get it for the following year, you know,
That was
it
kind of my
throws, it
concern.
throws things off. So I will talk to our accountants to make sure, you know, during the budget process, we do this correctly.
Thank you.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's a very good question, Mary. Okay, so we'll call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Weekend, I,
Okay. Town of Monroe, and Town of Warwick dial bus shared services. I'll turn that over to Councilman Cologne.
Okay, the Town of Monroe looks to acquire consulting services on administrative responsibilities for dial-a-bus program. Town of Warwick will have their supervisor of transportation, Jennifer Culver, consult with the town supervisor and head bus driver dial-a-bus on these issues. And in doing so, the Town of Monroe will pay the Town of Warwick $22,000 for the contract period. For the Town of Warwick will pay Jennifer Culver to perform consulting services for this period. And basically what it's doing is and that's to begin from now, September 1 through 12/31/2019 till next year, December. So that'll, I guess, join forces with Warwick, and we'll have combined services now. To expand our services, basically, is what it's gonna do.
Not only that, we'll get a partial reimbursement from the state when you do IMAs with other municipalities.
Right.
So we just need a motion. You want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scancarello. Any other discussion?
And this is gonna be directly helping our new head bus driver,
Yes.
whose name I don't remember.
Last meeting, after executive session, we hired Dominic Vasculo, who has over 24 years of experience as a bus driver, and I believe 3 years of experience as a dispatcher. He was a dispatcher for the Monroe Woodbury School District, and while he was dispatching, I think he was responsible for somewhere in the neighborhood of 140 buses during the day. So this is something where we think we can make major improvements, and Dominic is really gung-ho to get things done and make some positive change there.
Well, we're gonna be redoing scheduling.
Yes.
We're gonna be saving a lot more money on that. We're gonna be applying on time to different grants that we're supposed to get. So in actuality, this will end up actually saving the town quite a bit of money.
Yeah, Dominic has also informed me that we're scheduled to get 6 new buses in December. Currently, our maintenance line, I think is over more than 2 times what it would normally cost. And there are still some issues with some of the buses. So the management and the repair of the buses, I think we'll see a major improvement going forward. Okay, call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye?
Scangarello, aye.
weekend, I,
Okay. All right. Annexation of vacant village-owned land. The village has requested Section 1, Block 2, Lot 45, which it currently owns, and it's adjacent to the town-village border, and they would like to annex that into the village. There are currently no taxes on it, since it's a village-owned property, and it will be part of the Smith Clove Park properties, which are off of Forest and Scunamunk. So, Council, if you want to expand on this, please.
Supervisor, you have before your resolution. This is actually similar to what the village had done a couple of months ago with another parcel. And under, the provisions of state law, the village can annex property that it owns outside of the village, so long as it's contiguous with the border of the village. And so this is basically the same process that they're going through with a different village parcel.
Okay.
Point of clarification for people who may be watching at home. We keep saying the village. Which village?
Village of Monroe.
Thank you. I just wanted to make that a point of contention because people will probably be thinking what.
Thank you.
All right?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, any other questions? So we have the resolution before us. I will make a motion to consent to the Village of Monroe to annex the village-owned parcel of land into the Village of Monroe.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Okay. Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McKenna, aye.
Okay. I'm gonna jump around a little. I'd like, Mr. Rogers, if you could come up to discuss the lighting. A few months back, we passed a policy resolution regarding lights on town roads. That policy was to limit the lights to cul-de-sacs and intersections. I'll let Mr. Rogers, who has graciously volunteered his time and efforts dealing with Orange and Rockland, meeting with myself, and then spending a lot of time on his own in order to revamp this so the town is saved a considerable amount of money. And I'll let you speak to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jim Rogers, town resident. Earlier this year, I did an inventory of the 361 streetlights that Orange and Rockland is building in the town of Monroe. Only the town now, not villages. So when I talk on this subject, villages are more urban than towns were, more or less. And when I compare them to other towns, not like when I speak of Goshen, not the village of Goshen or the village of Chester, but the towns outside the villages. So we looked at other towns, Blooming Grove, Chester, Goshen, Blooming Grove. They spend $7,500 a year on streetlights. Chester, $9,000 a year. Goshen, $5,000 a year. Town of Monroe, $82,200. Way out of whack.
Unbelievable.
And the town of Monroe lights town intersections and cul-de-sacs. When I go to Goshen or Blooming Grove, you go out towards Chester, Craigville Road, Gray Court Road, Oxford, no lights at all. So we're not eliminating any lights on town intersections or cul-de-sacs for public safety. Other towns don't do that, but the town is. So we're reducing them down now from 361 lights down, I got it down to 188 lights.
Wow.
That's a big reduction. Why? Because this LED program to convert from high-pressure sodium or mercury lights to LED lights, we have to buy the lights from Orange and Rockland. Now, do we want to buy 361 lights? No. We want to buy 188 or even lower. What's got me concerned, I'll talk about a little later, is maybe that can go down a hair. But the LED New York program upgrade, we have to buy these lights, then upgrade them to LED, and then have an outside contractor maintain them. Now, there's pros and cons. It'll take 4 to 7 years to get your money back. But you get a 50 to 7% savings on energy cost, but might be eaten up on the maintenance cost. Now, we can right now reduce the number of lights while still maintaining intersections on town roads and cul-de-sacs. Now, the board has to make this decision to go further, and the council needs to look at the agreement. It's very complicated. It's 32 pages long. And it's very, uses words, I don't understand it and whatnot, but I'm not very smart anyway. But you need a lawyer turn around and really look at all this stuff.
He's not very smart.
It's complicated, believe me.
There goes all the savings.
Now, some of the build lights were spotlights when the development was built. Lake Manor, the old O'Gorman estate, has been there for over 20 years. Here's a spotlight in the woods, still shining. 46,000 lumens for no purpose. That's what we're eliminating, you see? That's why I did inventory. Now you might say, well, why? I sat on the board for 24 years. But you know, you don't pay attention to what you have. You just add and add and add. And you don't even think about it. You get your upgrades and you just keep paying. But when I start comparing to other towns, it's ridiculous. Hilltop Manor, when they did Hilltop Manor, High Ridge Road, build 3, there's only 2 lights there. Orange and Rockland Road, build 10, there's only 8. Brook Drive, which is half in the village, no light, but on ours charging the town of Monroe. So many lights that Orange and Rockland is not billing the town of Monroe are on the grid. And I couldn't believe how many Orange and Rockland is getting the shaft. I mean, I look at poll numbers, we're not getting billed, so I should care less. But it's ridiculous. People just put up lights and hook them on the secondaries. And I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about the 361 lights that we're being billed for. We need trimming for the lights, especially at cul-de-sacs. Tree limbs block the lights, so we get no benefit of illumination, but we pay for it. And there's a lot of cul-de-sacs did this way, and I asked John Cherney, can you do it? Well, he doesn't have a bucket truck. He can't turn around and start doing that. So when Orange and Rockland does tree trimming, we have to ask to trim, otherwise, what good is the light? We're paying for it. Now, one of the questions you probably wondered, why don't Orange and Rockland just upgrade to LED? Why should they? They get $82,000. If you say only 50%, why would they want $41,000? See, that's why the state turns around in this program and says we have to buy them from Orange and Rockland. So I'm trying to get the number of lights down and still keep public safety on the town intersections and cul-de-sacs. But I don't want to spend town money paying Orange and Rockland. So, now, I talked with Mike Sweden, him and the mayor of Monroe, and they have 200 lights. Now, for the whole town of Warwick. They're the largest town in Orange County. We had 360 lights, and we're the smallest town in Orange County. It just shows you how out of balance this is. But Warwick is moving forward in the LED program. They had to buy the 200 lights for $89,000 from Orange and Rockland. No negotiations. So it's a big, the board's got to make a decision. You want to move forward. I'll get to it later. So the town of Monroe keeps getting smaller with Palm Tree and maybe with Seven Springs. We don't want to buy lights that will be out of the town of Monroe from Orange and Rockland and then convert them to LED. Even the 188, they're in up by Elroy Homes in the part that is proposed supposedly for Seven Springs. So we have a lot of problems with O&R. Double charging, and the list I have is 2 of the same poles right underneath each other. We're getting charged twice. Stuff like that. Lights not working. When they reported them at the end of May, I gave them 13 lights. And I went to Mary Ellen, and she sent these in. Some of them are still not working from May 31st. Here it is September. So there's a communication problem too. The calls go unanswered, don't call back. We don't know whether they fixed them or not. Poles are not numbered. Up by Rick Cologne's house, there's underground poles. No markings on the poles. And the intersection by Rick's house that goes down, we can identify it because this road and that road, that's what you do. But it has to have a number. We have a number of underground poles with no numbers on them. So, right now, we saved about $40,000 if we downsize from 361 to 188. But I would recommend to the board that we wait and see if we get smaller by annexation, because we have to buy these lights. And I hate to have the town have to buy lights and then turn them around to
Just to clarify though, we
Sure.
can get rid of the lights that were not.
well, we own them from there, aren't they? They're not on your mountains
No,
anymore.
no, I'm talking about of the 365, the difference between 365 and 188, we're gonna basically discontinue the illumination of those.
Right, right.
Now, well, of the 200-plus lights that we're going to be, you said 300 lights?
361 down to 188.
Okay.
So
So-
it's 177.
It's gonna be about 100, almost, just shy of 200. Are those poles gonna be taken down?
No,
And the
no.
reason I
All they
ask-
do is, we have to give, here I'm bad mouthing O&R, but we have to give them reasonable time. All they have to do is go and they cut the hot and the neutral off. They don't even have to take it down. All we want to do is not pay for that light. So we say hypothetically, January 1st, 2019, this 188, these are the ones we want, that we're willing to pay for. And these are the ones we're not.
Right. No, the only reason
And
I
it gives
ask,
them
and,
ample time.
right, I just don't want them to, 5, 6, 7 years later, turn those lights back on or try. As long as they disconnect them and we're no longer liable to pay for them.
No.
I think that the savings that you're generating in town, and I cannot thank you enough, Mr. Rogers, on that, because, like you said before, you have served on this town board for some time, and you're still continuing to help the town out, and this is a great help, because don't forget, in 10 years, this is just gonna be, just shy of $500,000 saved. So, I thank you for the time you put in.
Just even if we're down to 188, and that's not a real firm number, but right now, Goshen is $5,000 a year for the whole town, not the village, just the whole town of Goshen. We're still, so many times that. Blooming Grove, Chester, we're 4 times, 6 times, and 8 times as more, still with a reduction than other ones. And they don't have intersections lit up. We do.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking things away from, public safety.
Right.
But you go up Lakes Road, every other pole has a light on it. It's like 42nd Street.
Right.
And at one time, they had hotels there and this and that, who were illuminating a county road. For what? $82,000, keep that in mind.
Yes, it is.
So it's a big savings for the town if we move forward.
And there's quite a few private roads that are illuminated.
There's private roads, it's unbelievable where I found these poles, or found these lights. I mean, at beach sites, way up in the woods, it was like a giveaway program, I guess, from years ago.
Well, the deer need to see where they're going. They want to jeep far, you know what I mean? In the bear.
But it's really development and whatnot. And, that's, when they build them, they put out like an office building. And the last one was pretty new, was Macon over there.
Oh, please don't mention
And they had there's a spotlight, a big spotlight that was shining on the construction trailer. It's still there.
Yeah.
Still shining. So you go out 3 or 4 in the morning and check to see if it's going. Yep, we're getting billed.
Wow.
Stupid.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr.
Any other
Roberts, can I just
questions?
ask you, as far as replacement costs, once is LED cheaper or is it less?
Much cheaper. The energy itself to run the light is 50 to 7%, and that's what would take 4 to 7 years to pay off.
Right.
But you got to remember, I'm assuming if 200 for Warwick is 89, 188, we're about 85,000. roughly. So if you take that 85,000, it's just the energy to pay for the 85,000 upfront to Orange and Rockland, then sign a contract, you know, for maintenance. John Shorty doesn't have a bucket truck.
Right.
You have to be licensed to, you know, change a bulb and all this stuff. You have to really, an ordinary person can't do it. So maintenance, it's like buying a condo. You get the condo real cheap, but then you find out the maintenance cost is more than you could have bought a house.
I mean, currently with this contract, O&R does the replacement on bulbs when they burn out, correct? Or-
Yes.
All right.
But
At
they
no
last
cost
a
to us,
long
to the town, or,
Say that again?
at no cost to the town, or?
But yeah,
When they have to replace
that's
the bulb-
built into the 82
Right, okay.
But
But that wouldn't be the case, of course, when we
And
switch over to LED.
one of the biggest problems that we have, we're the only town in Orange County that doesn't have a police force. Only town. So what other villages and towns do, the police department, they're on patrol,
Right.
they turn it in. Well, I did it for 24 years when I sat here. Now nobody does it.
Right.
See, and that's the problem. And we keep getting lights that are going, it's a problem. So somebody has to be in charge of, you know, responsible where, you know, we take care of the lights. And once this is done, it'll be easy, because the LED lasts about 25 years. So if you can get your costs back in 4 to 7 years, that's taken into account to lower costs and all this stuff. It's probably a good deal. My problem is, I don't want to see the town buy lights that we're not going to use, or it's going to go to another village or another, see?
Right.
That's why I don't want to buy 361 lights.
Any of those lights in the 164?
The what?
Are any of those lights in the 164? In the 164?
Annexation.
Annexation.
4-8 annexation over in KJ.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah. But there's so many lights, and I just kept them at intersections. There's so many lights that are illegal. Orange and Rockland should actually do this, because there's so many illegal lights, it's unbelievable. And, but that's their problem. I just am worried about the billing for the town of Monroe.
All right. well,
So, I'll give the contract, if you want, I can give the contract to your attorney, and it's 32 pages, and it's you really have to,
I'll have it done by the end of the meeting.
but
What I'd like to do tonight, though, is pass a motion to authorize Mr. Rogers to come up with a list of the lights we will be discontinuing, so that we can get that process in play.
I'll second that.
see, here's the red are eliminated, the yellow we keep, and it just goes on and on and on. You see? I mean, it's unbelievable, especially when you get to Lakes Road and stuff. Every other pole is a light.
Right,
It's
it's right by
crazy.
the driveway, and 2 driveways down, there's another light, and another driveway down, there's a
Yeah.
3rd light, yeah.
Now, the thing is, you gotta have a backbone, because people that had a light, they're gonna say, oh my God, you're taking, we are not taking any for public safety away.
We have a policy in place now, so
That's right,
we're good.
because otherwise, you know, it's very easy, so we'll eliminate this one, we'll eliminate that. You gotta be firm with it. And give Orange and Rockland, I would suggest that you say, okay, whatever you wanna do, but by
December 1st.
January. Well, you can make it. We went from, I started this in April.
Yeah.
You're in September.
Listen, there was a
So we're not gonna
2.5
say-
to 3 month lag because of their not getting us the maps that we
Yep.
requested. So,
So right now, even if we do it January 1st, we are not gonna save the $40,000 against next year's budget until next year.
Right.
So, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your effort. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And as far as the maintenance goes, we'll probably put Councilman Cologne on that, because he's been in the dark for years.
Wow.
Downtown.
Oh, God.
So we have it.
Oh, just you wait, I'll get you.
We have a motion before us.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, any, want to add anything?
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, and what Mr. Rogers says is correct. People, once they realize that their light on their block or whatever is gonna get turned off, there's gonna be, oh, okay, that's gonna be one light, oh, there's gonna be another, and then our 177 is gonna dwindle down to, 100 by the time people weigh in on it. So I think, I'm all for going with that list, but I think we have to hold hard and fast to that list.
Well,
And not let,
we have the policy.
We have the policy.
I know, but I'm just saying, I think if that's the list we're going with, that's the list that we stick with, and not let
absolutely.
special interest or any other influences.
I can come up with the list of where they are and whatnot of the 188 right now, and you can proceed from there.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll probably end up sending those residents a letter with the
Yeah.
policy, just so they, are understanding of why we're doing it.
Right.
We could have Mr. Rogers knock on the door.
I'm the guy taking your
All
letter.
right, thank you very much. It
No,
was a very
seriously,
big undertaking.
Great job.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's awesome.
So, if there's nothing else, can we call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Come on, I.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Again,
Okay. Next item is the telecom proposals. I would like to table that till next month because I believe I printed out the wrong proposal. Essentially what it is I secured a company called Telecom Data Services, and there was actually no cost in securing them. Their fee is based on 50% of the first year savings, only for the first year. And this is for our telephone voice systems and maintenance. The way this is printed out, initially per month, and this is with the addition of new phones for the new town hall, the savings was a little over $1,200 a month, but I believe it's higher than that because we had to readjust a couple things. So annually, it'd be a savings of approximately $14,500 for the town. So I would like to table that till next month to make sure I have the correct figures.
Next month or just later?
I'm sorry, next meeting.
Next meeting, yeah. I'll second that.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Come on,
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
again, aye.
Okay. All right, next up is the web filtering for town computers. We need to purchase a web filtering software from Currentware so we can better protect the town computers. We've been having some issues with some viruses, which our IT people are catching immediately. It ranges anywhere from, a Bitcoin virus to a virus that slows down your computer. The cost for the one-time fee is $1,400 for 30 computers, and then there's an annual subscription fee for the software for updates of $169. And that's not $169 per computer, that's $169. So, I think we need to do this. Our transition from Firthcliffe to New Windsor IT has been it's been positive, but it's a slow process. We've had a lot of issues that come up. We have a lot of computers, some which are running on a 2007 version of Microsoft Office, some are working on 2010, and some are working on 2013. Actually, most of them are up to date with 2013. And it's caused some discrepancy. A lot of what was done in the past was fragmented and needs to be updated. So this is a portion of that update, and I would hope that by the end of the year we have everything resolved. So I would like to make a motion to approve that one-time fee of $1,400 and the addition of the annual subscription fee of $169.
I'll second it.
For discussion.
Mary?
This also includes all the off-site, like highway, dog shelter, bus,
This includes,
every single
includes-
site.
includes
It's
every,
not
every,
just-
every site that we have, yes.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
And any other discussion? The only one I don't think it includes, and let me just correct that, is the courts, because I think they're on their own.
But
Yeah,
they do have their own.
They have to be separate.
Any other discussion? Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Begin, aye.
Okay. One other announcement is our electronic recycling date is proposed for November 3rd, 2018, for Town of Monroe. Val, do you happen to know the cost associated with that?
Unfortunately, I do not.
I know Mary Ellen had put it in her budget, because we had
Yeah,
discussed
I
that
know.
much earlier when the first recycling was done.
Yeah. I guess we could wait till the end of the month to approve it, because there's no dollar amount here. I don't want to approve it without having a dollar amount. So can we
Table.
table it?
Yeah.
Make a motion to table it.
Second by Cologne.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Begin, aye.
Okay, so moved. The next is just a, informational purposes. There were a number of speedies permit violations up on Smith Farm. Our village's building inspector has been on it, and he's been working in conjunction with our town building inspector. And there have been notices from the DEC, which violations under Article 17 are subject to fines of $37,500 per day. And that's something that, will add up to a lot of money, obviously. And those were, obviously would be incurred by BMG Monroe LLC. So right now, that's where we're at. It's got to do with the heavy rain and the water runoff for the most part. So,
Has McGooey Hauser Edsel received a copy of that letter as well?
yes, McGooey, Hauser, and Edsel, along with John O'Rourke, the village engineer, have received those letters. I spoke to Ben about it a little bit today, but a lot last week. And Ben is on top of it, so just so you know that the town could also be fined that amount per day. But I don't believe, based on the way we're handling it, that it would come to that. So it's just for, like I said, informational purposes. Okay.
It's a lot of money.
Yes, exactly. So Mr. Rogers spoke. So the movie theater hires, yeah, we did, but I just would like Councilman McGinn to add the names into, since you had made the motion last meeting.
Okay, you did make a motion at the last meeting to hire, to authorize the hiring of the 5 part-time recreation aides for the Monroe Theater. We did not have the names at that point. We do have the names now. They'll be hired at an hourly wage of $10.40 an hour, which is minimum wage. They will be replacing employees that have, part-time employees that left the service of the town, either to return to school or are just no longer working for us. And the names are Anthony Mello, Brianna Ramos, Dean Pally, Catherine Christimoto, Tony, you want to take a stab at that? And Taylor Amato. And those are the 5 recreation aides. So I would make a motion that we authorize the hiring of the 5 aides,
I'll
part-time
second.
aides.
Seconded by Councilwoman Bingham. Any other discussion? Call the question?
Hingham, aye.
Come on,
Cardone, aye.
Scancarella, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. Okay, public comment.
No, question. Did we do 4.12 reimbursement for employee attended events?
Oh, I skipped over that. Thank you. Okay, basically what that comes down to is, the town of Monroe, it's my feeling that the town of Monroe should only reimburse employees for meals which are at credit-based continuing education events. So if you're getting CPEs as an employee, I don't want it to be misused, so that you're going to a function and you're not getting credits for, then why are you being reimbursed for the meal?
Suppose you're going for a course, there's a test, you don't pass the course, but you were going for a course. You know, I think it's happened in the past.
But is the course a week-long course?
I think it was like 3 days.
And you talking about like the water?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that I can understand, but I mean, I think there was a little bit of, a little bit too much freedom, I guess is the best word, with respect to that. So, I mean, we could discuss it further, we don't have to make a decision tonight, I'd like it in place before the budget,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
goes on, but, yeah, just please give it some thought, because I think it's really important that we, you know, cut wherever we can, so that we get ready for the new town of Monroe. Okay, so, I mean,
We'll table it.
yep,
I'll make a motion to table.
I'll second it. Call the question?
Hingham, aye.
come on.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarella, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay. So moved. Okay. Public comment. Val?
Jim Rogers?
I want my street light back.
Wow.
4.7, snow and ice on county roads.
Yep.
I've been off the board 6 years. My memory's probably fading, but I thought it was 28.5 6 years ago. You just said it was 27.6. And I always thought that was kind of low, and I asked at the time to try to get the county to, you know, renegotiate. I don't know how long it's been at this point, but it was that at whatever figure's right, 27 or 28, you have a bad year, you're losing money like crazy. It was suggested once that if you have, there should be a cap. So if you go out more than, you know, 20 times or something, the amount of salt you use would be that much on that many miles of road, you know. There should be a cap put in there or something. It shouldn't just be a flat figure. The other thing I have is notice a violation on the Smith farm. Now, there are private roads there. Now, we all know what the development is. So there's going to be no lights on the private roads, even though it's in the town. And the town should adopt a policy like the village of Monroe has, where sidewalks, because the people do not drive. A lot of them don't drive. So there's going to be sidewalks probably on both sides. Once that is turned over to the town, and now maybe it's a legal question because of the private road. Is it the right of way or is it just the road? Are we responsible, the town, for the sidewalks? Because
On a private road?
I don't believe so, but I'll defer to our attorney because it's a homeowners association.
Yeah,
Okay.
typically it would not be for a private road.
okay, so that would eliminate that then. Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Thank you, great point. Thank you.
Ward Brower?
worker, private citizen. I got the impression over the past few months that some of the people on this board probably don't like Mr. Goldstein. Why would you hold a meeting on his holiday so he can't be here? That's just a joke.
Okay.
But I do have a question about the budget. Over the years, the budget process has taken many meetings. Many departments, I've been through many of them. And are we limited to just to 2 sessions? We're gonna condense all those department interviews, all that questioning? I can remember I don't wanna mention the gentleman's name, who went on for 2.5 hours just presenting what he did. And almost killed one meeting. So this question is, how are we gonna condense this budget process, which is very complicated, down to just 2 meetings? Does that include the public hearing also?
No.
No? Okay. That is my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for public comment.
Anyone else? Anyone on the board want to respond?
Well, I think you should respond about the budget mostly, because you've been meeting with a lot of the department heads already, that it hasn't been
So-
done in the past, but we are
So
doing it this time.
here's the way, I intend to do it this year, Ward, is by September 20th, we have to have the preliminary budget turned into the town clerk. By September 30th, we have to approve the tentative budget. Prior to September 20th, I'll be meeting with all the department heads and their wish lists and whatever their needs are. And then it will be presented on by October 5th, but it'll be presented at our October 1st meeting, because we have to approve it prior to October 5th. Then we will have 2 meetings, one on the 3rd, one on the 22nd, and in addition to a public hearing, which will most likely be the first meeting in November, and then the budget will be approved. It's a different process because that's the way I choose to run it, and since I will become the budget officer, that's the way it's going to be. It doesn't give the public any less right to speak or input. You'll have plenty of input, but there's no need to sit there and hear each department give their budget. I've spoken to 4 other supervisors, and this is the same way that they do their budget. So, in fact, some of them only have one meeting for the public to decide, to make input. Anybody else?
Yeah, interesting, Mr. Rogers' comments about the county's contract with the town here for doing snow clearance, snow and ice clearance. We'll talk to the superintendent and just get his thoughts on that. Maybe you can do a little historical look at, see if the rates haven't changed since you left 6 years ago, then I think, that's something we need to really look at going forward. Listen, like you said, we're over the roads, we're on them, they benefit the townspeople, but they are county roads, and we should be reimbursed at an appropriate amount. I know last year they did an analysis, the highway department, we came out far ahead on that. But again, if we get killed with a 18 snowfall winter, then that could be a concern for us. So we'll have to look at that. And thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Anyone else? Okay, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss legal and personnel matters.
Second by Glenn.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Come on.
Pardon, aye.
Scarecrow, aye.
McKeon, aye.
Okay, so moved. Thank you all for coming tonight. If you're going to stay, you're welcome to stay. If not, enjoy your evening.
Enjoy the wet weather.
Ready, Jorge?
Yeah.
Motion to come out of the executive session and back into regular session for the September 10th town board meeting.
I'd like to second that.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Colin, aye.
Cardone, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay. Let me look up, was there anything else other than the Donnelly?
No.
Let me look up the, I had to look up, I'm sorry. It's not coming up.
We can make it on a not to exceed
Wait,
basis.
hold on. Wait, just it. Okay, we need to authorize, payment of, a motion to authorize payment of $15,000 non-refundable retainer for the retention of a hydrologist and civil engineer. And then, let's do that. Let's do that first. So I'll make a motion to authorize payment of $15,000 to hire a hydrologist and a civil engineer for the work that needs to be done on the All Mine lawsuit.
I will second.
Do we need to name the firm there, Cordon?
Well, Louis Berger and the civil engineer will be.
Berger or Burgess?
Louis Burgess, right? And the civil engineer would be, our engineer.
Right,
Louis Hauser
town
Nissen.
engineer, right, okay.
Yep.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Colin, aye.
Cardone, aye?
Scancarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay. And then we have, we have to hire Beckman Appraisals out of Tappan, New York, to do the appraisals for professional services in preparation of a before and after appraisal, costing $25,000 to be paid, $15,000 in a non-fundable retainer, a $5,000 payment upon delivering a draft appraisal, and the balance of $5,000 to be paid upon providing a final certified appraisal estimating the damages from All Mine.
You need a proposal or second?
We need a second on that. We'll get the proposal from them.
I'll second that.
The other part of that is, I didn't realize this part, he's gonna be paid $3,000 per day or any part thereof for court appearances by Mr. Beckman, if it gets to that.
Wow,
I don't
Is that
know.
the appraiser?
that's a lot.
Yeah,
The appraiser gets $3,000 a day?
yeah.
He's not
He's
even
an
in
expert
court.
witness.
No, that's if he's in court.
Well, that's if he goes to court.
That's if he goes to court.
Right, okay.
The other fee would be $200 per hour for out-of-court conferences, meetings, trial preparation services, and then other additional services rendered, requested with respect to the assignment.
Not cheap,
Uh,
considering.
Anything to add, counsel?
No, I was just asking if you had any other proposals, but I didn't know if that was through the town.
No, I guess, based on Mr. Donnelly's recommendation, this is a specialized appraiser, which will be done to conduct the history of the project, the value of what it was then, what it is now, and what the potential profit or loss would be at that time frame, and I think at this time frame. So, unfortunately, since the previous board, some years back, did not
Take care of this matter.
take care of the matter with our insurance company, we're left to handle the garbage.
Another sounds. Well, you need a second on
Yeah, we need a second on
that? All
that.
right, I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
No.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Come on, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Begin, I,
Okay. So moved. And it is Lewis, no, it's Lewis Burgess, yeah. Okay. Any other matters that need to be discussed? Thank you, Valerie, for your patience while we were in executive session. You too, George. Appreciate it. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Come on, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
begin, I.
I thought you said Cardone.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.